நீங்க மட்டும் தனியா இல்ல.
あなたは一人じゃない。
ನೀವು ಒಬ್ಬರೇ ಇಲ್ಲ.
Tú no estás solo.
तुम ही अकेले हो.
आप अकेले नहीं हैं.
You are not alone. As an international student at Florida State University, I imagine you are really excited to join our great campus community. However, as the initial excitement of coming to a new country and a new university wears off, you may find that you are challenged with adjusting to a new culture, both in the classroom and outside of the classroom. I'd like to share with you today a few stories from some of our international students who went through the same transition in moving from being a new international student to adapting to being a successful student at FSU, and also some resources available to you here at Florida State.
So in terms of culture shock upon arriving at FSU, the one thing I noticed was that people here are definitely friendlier and nicer, more approachable.
I found that I didn't relate very well to, for example, African American people, but I was also different than the majority population as well, even though there were similarities.
Another thing I noticed was that, I guess not in terms of, okay, I guess in terms of culture, I definitely found a lot more variety at FSU in terms of cultural backgrounds and origins, and I've heard that Florida is a melt pot, and so I definitely got to see a lot more international students at FSU itself compared to everywhere else that I've been in the world, which I really liked.
Of course, there were feelings of loneliness, not fitting in with people who looked like me pretty much, and it took me a while to get adjusted and feel like I could step out of my comfort zone, which was my apartment pretty much.
A lot of international students like myself would assume that when you come to the US, you're going to a city like New York or, Los Angeles or something like that. So you're expecting a big city where, everyone is, I guess, in the 1% and, has cars and, great jobs and that kind of thing. But then coming to a place like Tallahassee is actually moving to a really small place, even compared to back home in Kenya, Nairobi, or even in my hometown of Aurangabad in India. So Tallahassee is definitely a smaller place, but I still love it and I'm glad to be here.
Tallahassee is very diverse, but then it's not. So groups tend to congregate together. They tend to hang out with people who are like them, but there aren't very many people like me. So that was one of the biggest challenges, and everything in Tallahassee is far apart. So having to, for example, take public transportation everywhere, or walking to and from campus, getting on the campus bus, all of that was a little bit challenging. And of course, unavailability of things that I was used to, for example, the food. Even though we had a lot of these restaurants, their daily fare would be pretty much traditional food. Didn't have access to all of that. So that has been one of the biggest challenges, of course, living here. What I love most about Tallahassee is FSU. It is, and I tell everybody everywhere I go, it's the most amazing campus. I've had the opportunity to be on so many campuses across the country, and I don't think any one of those campuses compares to FSU.
FSU itself, I think, is one of the most amazing universities that I've seen, with a bowling theater, with the movie theater on campus, and the fact that you have so many other places where you can go with friends and have a good time and, I guess, more meaningful interactions.
Regardless of how diverse we are, we all identify as Seminoles, and that's definitely a uniting factor. I go to football games by myself, and people wonder, how do you do that? I'm like, I don't feel alone in the stadium because everybody on my left and my right, it's go Noles, and as long as you're saying that, you're fine.
My relationships with faculty at FSU is definitely more unique than what I've had previously back in high school in Kenya and in India, and my undergraduate education in Canada.
Here you can email your professors, ask questions, they respond back. If you're having personal issues that's going to affect your ability to complete an assignment, that is something that they're very accommodating of. Going to conferences, my student leadership, a lot of those things back home, I wouldn't even think of trying to work around them. It was just like you do what the professor wanted and that was it.
FSU is a closed campus and it gives you more opportunity to interact with your professors and colleagues. And I feel that professors here are more, I guess, friendly, and you're allowed to approach them, or they encourage you to ask questions and be more involved and basically take the lead in your educational experience. And so that is something I've really liked, and I'm glad to say that I cannot complain about that for the amount of time that I've been here at FSU so far. There's a lot of ways that international students can feel a sense of community and get involved at FSU.
What I would recommend for international students who are coming into a strange culture is to find your niche, basically, whether it's on or off campus, your community that you can feel comfortable in because you need a safe space.
My experience at FSU has shown that, or I guess in life in general, has shown that you need to be proactive and you need to go out there. Don't be shy to, join the various student organizations on campus, talk to the international center, go to the counseling center or the wellness center if you need to, talk about something with, third party and not someone who you're close to if you do not feel comfortable talking to them.
There are so many student groups on campus for various people who identify with whatever cultures or are from specific countries. That's a good way to start. If spirituality is important to you, then that is another way to, be grounded. But one other thing that I would say is also embrace the diversity that you're in, because you will never be comfortable in an environment if you're consistently and constantly just within the circles that you're comfortable with. You're always going to feel out of place in classrooms. You're not necessarily going to want to participate in the diverse activities that happen on campus. You need your home base, but it is also necessary to venture out of your home base if you're ever going to feel at home here.
When you've traveled everywhere, everyone is the same at the end, and you get to learn a lot about different people. And the hopes are that you get to learn from one another and build connections and become a better human and more educated, and do not have that sense of loneliness when you're a new student at FSU, whether you're American or international.
You are not alone. A transition into a new culture and environment can be challenging and stressful. We are here to help.
You are not alone. We are invested in you and your health and wellness. Our doors are always open for you.
You are not alone. Everyone's experience at Florida State University is different and unique. We're here to help you make your dreams and goals a reality. Please know resources here at Florida State are for you to use in whatever way you need fit, be it options for yourself or finding ways to support a friend. Welcome, and we're glad you're here.
You're not alone. All of us who come from different cultures and backgrounds need time to acclimate. For more resources at Florida State, go to healthycampus.fsu.edu.
You're not alone.
You are not alone.
You are not alone.
You're not alone.
You are not alone.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.